Shut up and sit down.
Boom. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Couch Live. It's Dope and Dharma, the Couch Live edition of Dope and Dharma. And we're here with you on, of course, WOKB 1680 AM and 100.7 FM in the Central Florida area. And then some of you are probably getting it some other way, right? Either podcasting or something like that.
Sure. Yeah. Either they can check us out on Dope and Dharma on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or on your whatever podcasting platform you choose.
Right.
Yeah. You can see our faces at that point.
That's right. I'm the street certified dope Dr. Louis Delgado here with you. And of course, that's Trinity Phillips, the Dharma guy.
Hey.
And, we take a little bit more days off than before. We've had a lot going on. We've had a lot going on in life, Trinity.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of reasons and excuses to take off. So the fact that they've been listening to reruns at WOKB, I apologize. But, I became an abuelo.
You did?
Again, for those of you that can't speak Spanish and don't know the word abuelo, what city do you live in that you don't have some Latino around you that says the word abuelo? No, grandfather. I'm a grandfather in the English language. It's a beautiful thing. Little Maverick has been born, Trinity, 1 month ago today.
Yeah.
On the 22nd.
That's right.
And, little Maverick was brought into the world. Man, he's just an amazing little man already, man. I just, it's something else, Trinity. And for those of you that don't know, Trinity also became a grandfather in the same month. Go ahead, Trinity. What's your grandchild's name?
Yeah, it was almost like the same time, right?
Like a week later, like a week apart. They had the same. They had the same date.
Yes, I think they were due on the same day, but I don't think they didn't actually make it on the same day.
No. Dahlia had to go a little bit longer and a little bit more pain, a little bit more complications.
Yeah. Skylar, from what my understanding was, it was pretty quick.
It's not pretty easy.
Yeah.
Dahlia is like preeclampsia, then the placenta gets left in her a little bit.
That's crazy to me, man.
Which puts her in sepsis, and now she had blood poisoning, and we almost lost her a week after, and she's still recovering from that. So it's not really public. So now I'll probably get in trouble for making it public. What's new?
Yeah. Well, my granddaughter's name is Aslan, by the way.
That's beautiful.
I had to look it up because the spelling is like weird. It's like hard to pronounce, but it's Aslan. It's ASLYN something.
I had to listen, kids. By the way, if your child or grandchild is going to have to look up, like if the rest of us have to look up how to spell your child's name, you're probably getting too creative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like if they can't find it on a cup or a key tag.
Yeah, there will be no little key tags with this name on it. I suffered through that when I was a kid as well, so I know the feeling.
Right.
I know the pain.
Right. I always think of that when I run into somebody with a very creative name, and I'm thinking, well, the parents probably thought they were doing something really cool at the time. But then you have to spell your name everywhere you go.
Right.
And they just weren't thinking about you at the time. They were thinking about themselves.
Sure.
I'm kidding. But, they got to take responsibility for that. And that's the name of the show today, Trinity, taking responsibility.
That it is.
So it's good to be back here at WOKB 1680 AM. So a lot has happened. Like I said, we went through some things, some health things with my daughter. She's still going through it. So I appreciate everybody's patience and time through the pregnancy part at the end and her having the baby. But now it's time to get back into it and start doing some shows again. And, for those of you that don't know, the Couch Live has been around since 1999, and we've been doing this show. The Couch Live edition of Dope and Dharma we've been doing since 1999. It focuses on addiction and recovery and just all around good mental health for yourself, your family, your friends, things like that. And that's why we decided to talk about responsibility today, because there's so much going on, Trinity. There's so much going on politically. There's so much going on in the world. And even though we have a different show that we do, it's called We the Middle. It's a different edition of Dope and Dharma, which by the way, I'm trying to talk Trinity into doing a We the Middle tomorrow so that we can just talk about all these political things that people definitely want to be able to talk
there's
about.
Political stuff happening?
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit,
in our country?
A little bit.
Wow, okay.
And you know, it's important to talk from a middle perspective, because you know the Crips and Bloods love to fight about it. Mommy and Daddy are always fighting, and then we're stuck here in the middle going like, hey, you both are just a little bit much right now. Even though I am wearing a red hat today,
I see that.
but it has to do with the Phillies, man. It has nothing to do with Crips or Bloods, politically or. No offense to you, real Crips and Bloods. Hope you know I'm talking about the ones that wear suits and they're still gangsters. Anyway, so what's up, Leo? Leo from St. Louis, joining us on Facebook Live. And remember, if you want to join us on Facebook Live and jump in, you can as well. Or there's another one. There's another thing where it's live out there, right? While we're done.
On live, we're on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch Live, all under Dope and Dharma.
Okay, cool. All right, so responsibility training, like we're all affected by whether it be other people, whether it be issues in the world, issues that we deal with, whether it be our sickness, someone else's sickness, even the weather. Like you're highly affected by weather, right? and me, after golfing yesterday, I was highly affected by weather on the golf course yesterday. We still have to take responsibility for how we respond to things, right? We still have to take responsibility for our output. Because you can't change what comes at you all the time. You're not always in control of what comes at you. But you dang sure need to take full responsibility for your output. Because if you don't, this world will set you straight real quick and let you know, no, that's your responsibility.
Sure.
You know. Because at the end of the day, nobody really cares, Trinity.
No, they don't. I mean, yeah, it sounds cruel to say, but in all actuality, no, they don't.
Yeah. I mean, maybe your inner circle cares. But outside of your inner circle, but yeah, they don't really. Let me tell you something, people. Just in case you don't know these kids, they care more about the animal you have than about you.
Probably.
People love animals a lot more than they love humans. I don't know why that's the case. It just is.
That's because it's one-sided.
Yeah, it's just easy to love animals. We view them as helpless.
Well, they don't require anything in return either.
Nah, they're cute and cuddly. I mean, you know, so I get it. But at the end of the day, we got to get to a point of loving each other a little bit more. And so I want to talk about responsibility today, because there's people out there that have done some serious damage to hurt other people. And number one, I get it, but I want to talk about responsibility from both sides. Number one, the person that did the damage being responsible for creating the chaos a little bit, but also you are responsible for forgiveness. You are responsible for let it go.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's one of the biggest things in Buddhism, even, right? The spirituality part of it. This is the third truth, is you don't have to suffer, right? Like,
tell us a little bit about preach on a little bit about that, Dharma guy.
There's no rule that says that you have to be offended by something, right? Like, regardless of what somebody says or does, you choose to be offended by it or not, or to suffer from it or not.
Right.
So, like, yeah, I mean, it's their responsibility to not take something out upon you if something happens to them in a negative light.
Right.
But it's also your responsibility to take offense or not.
Right.
You know, you don't have to take offense. There's a old adage I heard a long time ago was it's hard to be angry at somebody's story, you know.
Right.
So it's like, if you know the reason behind why the person did what they did, it's a lot easier to understand that. So for me, that's kind of proof that it wasn't what happened that upset you or offended you. It's your interpretation of what happened that offended you. So if you kind of know where it's coming from, you're less offended. So.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Look, I grew up wanting to play the victim so much. I mean, I've said this many times, but for those of you that haven't heard it or don't even know who I am, you know, I've said it. I'm a Mexican Puerto Rican, first generation in this country. My father's a retired command sergeant major military right here in this country. My mother's Department of Defense right here in this country. So even though English is their second language and they weren't born here, they both were government employees for a long time and did pretty darn well for themselves. And now, you know, there are only two sons. One became me and the other one is successful. The other one's an attorney. No, I was kidding. You know, I think we did pretty good. So, but the thing was, I always try to play victim. I always try to say, Dad, Mom, I mean, you know why they arrested me is because I'm Mexican. You know why they treated me like this? Because I'm Mexican. It's because, you know, the way I hang out, the way we walk, the way we talk, you know, because I talked a little bit different, you know, and I acted a little bit different, dressed a little bit different. And we were talking the 70s and 80s, where in the 80s it's a different world, Trinity. I mean, it was very different the way it was. I know some people like to claim that we're still in the 60s today, but no. For all you all complaining about how bad stuff is now, you have no idea. None. They love us today. Are you kidding me? They love our Latino music. They love our Latino food. They love our Latino women. And if you're a black person, everybody every little white kid has a black person poster in their house.
Well, that's what I was just looking at. I'm in my son's room, actually.
So, yeah, I bet you he's got a
yes.
black dude poster, something like a Michael Jordan or something like that.
No, there's a basketball poster here, and there are
amen.
There's 9 NBA players on there, and out of all the 9, 2 of them are white.
Yeah,
the other 7 are black.
Yeah. See, I grew up in the the Celtics. that was your white team, right?
Yeah, right.
Indiana Pacers and Celtics is about what you got, right?
Yeah.
Now it's come on, man. Some times have changed. They've gotten better. They've gotten better, man. But we just like to be angry a little bit. But here's my point. Let's take politics for 2 seconds, maybe a little bit longer. But when I say take responsibility, I'm talking about we know that we almost lost a person. We almost witnessed an assassination, which we haven't had one in a very long time. Right? The last person to get assassinated, the last president to get assassinated was Kennedy.
Yep.
Right? The last one to be attempted to be assassinated was Reagan. Right?
Yep.
A 20-year-old kid. A kid.
Yeah.
Right? A 20-year-old.
It's crazy.
Unskilled marksman. He's not a skilled marksman. It's not like he was a Marine, a retired Marine, or a disgruntled Marine or something like that. Sniper shooter. This is a 20-year-old kid using his daddy's gun.
Yeah.
Almost killed the president of the United States.
And even then, it didn't fail because of him.
Right.
The attempt failed because Trump turned his head.
Right.
Like,
and he still killed somebody.
Yeah.
And he still murdered somebody.
Yeah. And injured 2 others.
Yeah. So just because we didn't lose our ex-president, we lost a citizen.
Yep.
A family lost their father.
Yep.
That's a horrible scenario. And so when you think about something like that, and you think, I hear all these people say, we got to tone down the rhetoric. We got to tone down the rhetoric. And I'm saying, yes, we do. And I'm thinking, in Trinity, I was wrong to expect it. I was thinking they meant their own words.
No.
But they meant him. They meant that Trump people need to tone down the rhetoric because they still call him a racist.
Existential threat to democracy.
A threat to democracy.
Literally the night before, Biden called him the existential threat to democracy, and they said he put a bullseye on him.
They call him Hitler.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, man. If you call somebody a rapist, Hitler, a threat to democracy, and a racist, nobody cares when violence is placed upon someone with those kinds of that are those kinds of people. Yes. Even in prisons, people attack people that might do some of that stuff, right? So how can you not take responsibility for if you throw these are hateful, evil things to call somebody.
Yeah.
So I can easily see if you out there really believe that about this guy, that is a problem. That is a true problem, because if you believe it, I feel for how darkened your heart has become about another human being you don't know anything about. You do know that 50% of the population is wanting you to think that. The Crips want you to believe that.
Yeah.
Just like the Bloods want you to believe opposite. There's no comparison to rhetoric. Calling somebody old and feeble and unable to serve is not the same. That doesn't evoke hate. That just makes sympathy. That invokes sympathy, and it's like, oh yeah, get rid of that. That dude's come on, he's an idiot. You can't keep him, right? That invokes differently. You don't want to go shoot Grandpa.
Yeah, one is apathy.
You just
want
to take
rage.
his keys away. Yeah, you just want to take his keys away. Dad, I love you, but you can't drive. But you call someone Hitler. That you want to bomb that dude. You know what I mean? You can't compare the rhetoric. There's no so in our world of mental health or substance use disorders, it's kind of the same. If I'm the one using drugs, if I'm the one creating the chaos in the family, it makes sense why you're coming at me with an intervention and why you're wanting to say, we're going to divorce you, leave you, you're going to lose your business, all that stuff. It would be ridiculous if I come back at you and say, well, we got to tone down this rhetoric. Y'all got to love me. You got to forgive me 50 million times. You got to be nice to me. You can't talk to me like that. You can't do an intervention on me. Think about it. You can't flip it. If you're the one causing the chaos, and I'm sorry, Crips, but I'm in the middle, and from this middle perspective, you're the ones creating the chaos. You've been attacking and being mean to a person since the moment you heard the guy was running for office. He's allowed to be wrong. You're allowed not to like him. You're allowed not to vote for him. But the words you use are just not cool, man. The hate is hate. I'm sorry. Love is love and hate is hate. And I've told you guys many times when it sucks that the people that I've always counted on to being the most empathetic and loving in our society are now the ones that are the most hateful. It's hard for me, Trinity.
It's hard for me just in general. The thing that I've never understood, even when I was a kid, I've never understood this intense, like on either end, by the way,
Right.
this intense love or this intense hatred for
Right.
people that you've never ever met in your entire life.
Right.
Like people who hate Trump, for instance, at the moment,
Right.
they're hating somebody. The only equivalent that I can think of is seeing a Facebook post about somebody complaining about somebody else, and then now you hating them.
Right.
Like that's the equivalent. Like you don't know this person.
Don't know him at all.
You're reacting to somebody else's version or interpretation of what took place. You never met this person yourselves. You never talked to them. You don't have any vibe from them. You're getting through somebody else's lens, right? So, because even if you watch a speech, right, you're watching, what part of the speech that they chose to film, and then the way they chose to film it, or whatever. You didn't actually talk to the person. So, like, I wouldn't want somebody to hate me because I posted a video on my Facebook or TikTok or whatever it might be. And the same goes for love too. This intense love and belonging that people have with somebody they've never met before.
Right.
Like it's always boggled my mind when people will have like a music artist. Oh, I love him. Like, but you don't even know this person. Like how many people loved R. Kelly? Like, do you still love him?
Right.
I mean, how many people loved, Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby.
Do you still love him? Like, you don't just because you see somebody on TV or you listen to their music, doesn't mean that you like that person. You don't know that person
at all.
And the same thing with hatred. Like, if you hate Trump, there's something wrong with you, unless you know him, right? If you run in his circle and he has somehow wronged you personally, hate away. But if you've never actually sat down and had a conversation with this person or shaken their hand and talked to them, you have no business hating somebody that viscerally. Like, there's something wrong with you. Like, you have been led astray, and you need to take responsibility on where you're at in life.
Right.
Because it is absurd. Well, when I heard people, what made me what really hit home was when the bullet missed. Well, it didn't. I guess it technically hit, but
it hit.
When he didn't die, people were obviously, some of them were coming out saying it's a shame that he missed or whatever. And to me, it's like, well, think about that for a second, right? Like, you're wishing death upon a father, a grandfather, another human being, and you're only basing it off of things that you think to be true. You've never met this person or anything else, but you're willing to allow that person to die. And you've never met them. Like, what is wrong with you?
Because it's deep-rooted hate, man. They don't see him as human. Again, it's because if you see somebody as a racist animal, then nobody cares about you.
Yeah,
and you know what? And I get that. If it were true, I would get it.
Yeah.
But listen, I don't know the politics of the person that manages my 401k. I don't know if the person that manages my 401k is a good parent. I don't know if they're stable. I don't know their politics. But you know what? I don't care. I just care that they manage my 401k properly.
Sure.
Why are we in a situation where we actually care or even think that politicians are supposed to be loving and kind and truthful? They never have been, people.
Thank you.
They never have been. It's always been an us and them. And here's the us and them. They're both the same. The leaders of the Crips and Bloods are exactly 100% exactly the same. We're the them. I mean, with us, they're the them.
Dude, there's only two groups of people that I have been consistently hated my entire life from when I was a child. When I was a kid and I would hear grown-ups talk, or I'd watch movies and TV shows, and there was always two groups of people that was always okay to completely trash and call terrible liars and terrible people.
I bet you I know who it is. Don't even say it.
Two groups of people.
Right.
Go ahead.
Tell me if I'm right.
Go ahead.
Lawyers and politicians.
Exactly. Everybody hates lawyers and politicians. Why?
Yes.
Because they call them like lying, slime ball, whatever, you know.
Yes.
And so this notion that when I ask people why they hate Trump, for instance, well, because he lies. It was like, don't all politicians like
right?
It's like hating water because it's wet. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't understand.
Right.
You think Joe Biden's never told a lie? Like, there's videos all over the place right now of confirmed lies where him and his administration lied. And you can look at any administration, the Trump administration, the Obama, the Clinton. Right. All of them lie. That's like politics.
They've lied to us the last 4 years. I said the dude was perfect. He's competent. He's alert. He's the most energetic. And all of a sudden, because we all saw the debate, all of a sudden now you admit it. You all knew this. You lied. You guys lied. You got caught in your lie, and now you're acting like all of a sudden one day happened. Now every single one of us has an elderly person in our life where we saw deterioration, and then there came a reality point, right?
Yeah,
but man, they were propping they were doing Weekend at Bernie's the entire 4 years he's been in office, or 3.5.
Yeah,
and they just got found out. Not only that, but then he even brought in somebody, and this is what really gets me, because I've gotten jobs just for being a Latino, but I didn't get a job for being Latino. I got a job because I spoke Spanish. I was bilingual. There's a difference. There was a difference when I get jobs. It was because I was 2 employees in one back in the day. They needed people that were bilingual. But if they would have come to me and says, I'm giving you the job just because you have brown skin, that would have been more offensive to me than anything.
Sure.
I would have took the job, took the money. I would ask for more.
Sure.
But that is the racist. The person that hires you and identifies you for being a race and says, I'm giving you the job, that's the real racist.
Yeah.
Not the one that dares to hire otherwise and say, I picked the best person for the job. Listen. They might both be racist, but one is overtly racist, and that's the person that says, I'm hiring a black woman to be my vice president.
Or the person that says, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Yeah, that's the racist.
Yeah.
If there is one.
Yeah.
If there is one, that's the one that I'd watch out for, because that means they're viewing me from that lens. And they view everything from that lens. And that's what I was getting to when I said, my father, I'm glad, never allowed me to view anything out of that lens. He always says, Louis, the police arrested you and treat you like that, or teachers talk to you like that, or principals talk to you because you're stupid. He was just being honest. He goes, did you do it? I go, yeah, but they don't know I did it. I'd always be like, yeah, but they didn't know I did it. He goes, yeah, but you did it. And that's why you get what you get. He never allowed me to use it as an excuse that the white man was out there to get me. And I'm glad, Dad, that you did that, because, Dad, you saved my life by doing that. You allowed me to take responsibility. Word of the day, kids. Responsibility for my actions and not blame others and not become this victim. If I would now be a 54-year-old victim, what kind of damage would I be doing to my kids? What kind of damage would I be doing to now Maverick that is now born in this world saying, oh, kids, you're not going to get a chance because the evil white man's never going to give you a chance. If I'd raise my kids that way, I am setting them up for failure. I'm setting them up to be hurt. And I'm setting them up to view everything out of the same lens that I viewed things out of in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, when my kids are now living in an age where it ain't the same. No. You may want it to be the same because it feels good to finally get back at the man, but it ain't the same. And so that's where I'm coming from a little bit.
Yeah. And the other thing with responsibility, the other thing that I would encourage, especially when it comes to politics, but in anything for that matter, is, question everything, but especially the things that you agree with.
Right.
Like you read something online or you hear a video or something like that resonates with something that you already believe in. We all have this tendency to get fired up and really wholeheartedly believe that. Mm-hmm. But those are the things that you should question the most, right? Like you should have skepticism for everything that you see, read, whatever it is, but be very careful that you're also skeptical for the things that you agree with. Right. Because that's where we get in trouble, is when you already believe something to be true, and then you hear something without
Right.
like verifying or looking into it,
Right.
then you're going to allow yourself to get so fired up, and that's your
Yeah.
responsibility. Like
Yeah.
it's your responsibility to know where you're getting your information from, and where your biases lie. You got to be very careful, because if you don't, then you'll find yourself in a situation where you're calling for the death of somebody you've never met.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Everybody called for violence and attack.
Yeah.
Listen. The guy got convicted of 34 charges that most people can't even tell you what the charges were.
Yeah.
Right. But they all know the number 34.
Of course.
Right. And then, but how many of us know somebody that we feel was wrongly convicted, and we kind of know they did a little bit of something, but they shouldn't have been treated harshly by the government, or by all of a sudden everybody's like Barney Fife out there. All of a sudden everybody's like pro-government. Yes, convict them. Come on, man. Think about your brother or cousin or friend that's in jail right now, and think about how much time they gave him.
How many are you speeding right now while you're listening to this?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
But all right. So let's say you're convicted of something. Okay. What does that really mean to you? What is that telling you about that? Does that mean you're now supposed to what, hate the person? What, because they've been charged with something? I mean, did they attack him on a certain? Have both sides have charges that could be get arrested for, right? But only one side is continually getting investigated.
Yeah.
From the day one. I mean, let's be real about this. I think they're all criminals up there.
Probably.
I don't trust people in Washington to be good husbands. I don't trust them to be good wives. I don't trust them to be honest. I don't trust them to be people that are on the up and up. I trust people of means to utilize their means to get over. I trust people of any kind of privilege, whether it be street privilege or white collar privilege, to utilize that privilege.
I mean, that's the nature of politics.
I use my Mexican privilege every time I go to a tiendita, a little Mexican store. You don't think I'm going to go to a little Mexican store where I'm going to buy some of my Mexican meats and my special little groceries that we like, and I'm not going to speak Spanish? No, I'm going to utilize my Mexican when I am in that situation. Guaranteed.
Yeah. But isn't that the nature of politics, though? The nature of politics,
everybody's politics,
is to be a chameleon. And
everybody uses it.
You're trying to get a vote, so you're going to say what you need to say to get the vote that you want or get things passed. Because in your mind, the ends justify the means. Whether it's truthful or not, or factual or not, it doesn't matter. Like in your mind, I'm trying to get to this end, so I'm going to do whatever means So, I mean, do you think every politician in history thought that every single person they shook their hands with was a great person? No, they want their vote.
Right.
They might, judge them. Like, how many of them have you seen them when they shake hands?
Right.
They'll immediately go put like stuff on their hands, like, oh God.
Right.
But they didn't tell that to that person. They're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming out to that. That's just the nature of politics, man.
Right.
It makes you shady. It makes you do things that are two-sided. Because
when
at the end of the day, the vote matters.
I know when I'm around my friends in El Paso, I talk different. I know when I'm around my
Dude.
childhood friends, the street comes out in me. I know that.
My favorite part of that, to be honest with you, now that you bring it up, and I guarantee you a lot of listeners have experienced this.
Well,
So throughout my life, I've had a lot of friends, like black friends who were like from islands, like from Jamaica or from wherever.
Yeah.
I'll know them for years,
Mhm.
and they all just talk normal and everything else. And whenever they get around their friends from the island, I start hearing a whole different language. And I'm like, dude, I've known you for 15 years, and I
Yeah.
have never heard you speak that way.
Yeah, man.
The second your friends come around, the next thing I know, you sound like you just got off the boat. It's like,
Yes.
what? That's hilarious.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We
seen that a lot.
all do that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there's very common things that exist, but we always got our finger pointed at the other side when they do it. And that's your own personal issue, people. It's our own personal issues. Look, I will continue to work on whatever issues I can identify within myself, and hopefully I continue to identify issues till the day I die. Hopefully I continue to progress and get better and better till the day I die. You know why? Because now that I'm a girl dad, and the good thing about being a girl dad is girls would let you know what's up and wrong with you still. So my girls will continue to identify things within me that I need to adapt and change. For instance, my definition of aggression is me punching you in the face. My daughter's definition of aggression is saying certain words, and they'd be like, "What? What did I say?" They'd be like, "Dad, that was very aggressive." Yeah, they'll just be like, "That was aggressive," and I'll be like, "What? What was aggressive?" And then when I start arguing their point, they go, that right there. You know, like, so because their lens is different. See, they're in 2024. They're in a different generation. They're from just a whole different background. So their understanding of the word, even aggression, is very different than my understanding of the word.
Even
And in my head, and they're right, because in my head, I'm thinking, if I slap you right now, that's aggressive. You know what I mean? I'm thinking if I would have said that to my parents in the 70s, what my parents would have done. Right? I'm thinking, I couldn't imagine looking at my dad and said, Dad, that was pretty aggressive. My dad would have, bam, and be like, that's aggressive.
Yeah, my mom would be like, I'll show you aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. So even those little things like that, I think people can identify with and just understand those are the differences that exist. And let the progress be the progress, but don't try to view everything from your lens. If you only view things from your lens without taking responsibility for just hear it out a little bit. Maybe it's not the way you see it. Maybe it's not totally the way you view it. And maybe it is to you, but not to everyone. Listen, we are in a democracy. And in a democracy, you're always going to be half wrong. That's the nature of the country we live in, right? And that's the beauty of this country. It flips back and forth. It's not always your side winning. You know, the other side wins, then you win, then the other side wins, and you win. And those of us in the middle, sometimes we get it right, and sometimes we get it wrong. I've gotten it wrong many times. You know, being in the middle, but I just accept it and be like, okay, well then your side's going to run it this time. And
I've never been wrong.
Wait, you've always been on the right side of the vote?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, oh my God, that'd be awesome if you had that kind of record. I don't.
You mean in the voting? Yeah, no, I'm not always right.
Well, I'll give an example. I'll give you an example of voting for all the wrong reasons. I vote in, and look, people don't judge me for this. Yeah, I know there's somebody going to judge me for this. All right. Yeah, feel free to judge me. You're allowed to judge me. I voted for Hillary Clinton just because she was a woman. Same. 100%. I can't tell you one policy or one reason other than it was a woman, and I felt, it'd be cool to have a female president. By the way, regardless of what Bill did in office, that wasn't my issue. I made a lot of money during Bill Clinton years, so I liked him for that. I don't know if he was responsible for it or whatever. It just happened to land on his watch, and I'll forever be grateful for Bill for that. I'm not married to him. And my daughter didn't work for him, and my daughter wasn't an intern for him, so I didn't look at those issues. I simply looked at, is this a woman? I'm going to vote for her. Yeah, I will never vote like that again, because that's all the wrong reasons to vote for somebody.
Well, I got really caught up in it because I actually went to Obama's first inauguration.
Oh, that's
like awesome. I was up in DC for that. So when Hillary came around, I was like, yeah, let's keep the party going, man. Like, and I didn't take Trump seriously back then either. So I was just like, yeah, Hillary,
I don't think any of us did.
And the same thing, I couldn't tell you a single policy that she had. I literally voted only because it was a woman. Yeah, that was it.
Me too.
Yeah, won't do that again either.
And I lost.
Yeah.
And then you know what really hit me home when Biden said what he said when he put Kamala as his vice president, because I was like, you just ruined that woman. By telling everybody, like, see, this is stuff you do and you don't say, right? By him telling everybody, I'm going to pick a black female, you just took away all of the merit of the woman. She could have been great at so many things, but you just told all of us it has nothing to do with how good she is. It has nothing to do with how smart she is. It has nothing to do with how capable she is. It's because she's black, and she's a woman. And that same woman, just like a month prior to that, was calling him a racist on television.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so to me, that bothered me. It just bothered me that he was able to do that without ridicule. Like, he was allowed to get up there and say that, and we didn't like come down on the dude for it. And then throughout the entire time, it looked like, he gave her the border, but then who knew it was going to turn? Who knew it was going to turn into that situation? But he didn't even really use her. Like, he didn't really do anything with her. So of course, all of us are left with this bad taste in our mouth. Like, who is she? Like, what can she do? Right? Because she never really won anything, right? In our viewpoint, right? She never did anything. Remember, he put her there just because what she is. And then all of a sudden now, like today, if you're watching news at all today, it's like she's the next coming of Christ. It's like, this is awesome and beautiful. And if you don't like her, it's because you're a racist or you're a sexist. It's like, wait a minute. So if I don't vote for her, you're saying you're already setting me up for failure. You're saying if I don't vote for her, it's because I'm racist or against women? What? Why are we still playing this game, Trinity?
Shame on you.
Why are we still playing this game? By the way, we still haven't had a Latino. You don't hear me out there, saying much about it. You bring me a good one up there, and let's win it. Let's win one. You know what I mean? But don't just do it. You know what I mean? I just can't. We got to take responsibility for just being ignorant. We're all just ignorant, man. We're just angry. We're all just angry about our lives or something, man. You know what I mean? We're just frustrated with other stuff, and we're taking it out on all the wrong people. We're just blasting people. Whether we're just scrolling people's pages that we don't like and just like trolling, or we're just gossiping like crazy. Yeah, we're just not happy as a nation right now, as a people. And by the way, 3.5 years ago, the dude said unity, 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 unity. Really, people, did we get unified? Did you feel the unification? Because all I felt was a person up there constantly calling the other side anti-American and threat to democracies and racist and Hitler. That's all I heard. I heard nothing about unity.
Yeah.
They don't want to unite us, people. They don't want to unite us, man. Look, at least when people talk about America, I think we can all get behind that, especially being the first generation. We can get behind America this, America that, because you know what? We're in a land where we're allowed to disagree. We're allowed to not like each other too much. Let's just not shoot each other.
Yeah.
Let's not punch each other in the face. But let's talk about it. And let's not use hateful terminologies like calling each other racist, because let me tell you something. I'm the first one to admit if I'm in a room full of Latinos, we talk about all y'all. We talk about all y'all. And I think here's what I think, Trinity. I think you white guys talk least about us that we do, because I've been around groups of all minorities and we talk about you. Sure. We're allowed to hit hard when we're all by ourselves. We're like, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. We do all that stuff. And then, but if you guys even get close to that, we're like, hey, little white man.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not allowed to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, come on, man. You don't think Asians are looking at all of us and saying things? You don't think Arab people sit around together and think a certain... Look, all people have some sort of little camaraderie in terminology. Whatever. But as a nation, just walk outside and experience this place. And there's a lot more good than negative, man. Don't let the TV mess with you, man. Don't let the news mess with you. There's a lot more people out there coming together and being together and wanting to... Look, little kids playing together of all types and all colors. They don't care, man. Little kids don't care, so don't give it to them. Don't teach your kids this kind of hate, man. Let's take responsibility. And they're not... Look, these presidential figures, these political figures, they're not raising our kids. We got to take responsibility, and we can't blame Mexico for fentanyl. We got to take responsibility of our own. Look, we got to teach our own kids. Look, man, everything out there can have something that's gonna kill you and poison you, man. Understand that? I know you want to feel good. I know you want to get high. I know you want to feel something different. I know you want to party. That ain't partying. That ain't partying. Let's not get to the point of pain where you feel like you have to put something in your body that might kill you, because that's pain that person's experiencing. That's hurt. We need to open our hearts to people that are suffering from a disease of addiction, to the point of like, whatever we got to do, let's do that. We can't arrest ourselves out of the problem, but guess what? We can't, look, Trump, I know that you got up there and you said, I'll stop it day one. You can't stop fentanyl. You can't stop the death from addiction, because you can't stop this. But we as parents all together, we can. We as parents, and we as friends, and we as loved ones, we can. We all get together and work on understanding addiction better. We can work on understanding pain better, anxiety, depression, and all the stuff that comes with it, and help each other get through it. We can do that, but a politician can't. And it's not their job to do this, But I do get it. It does. You can't. When they did open the border pretty open, man. They did. It's hard to believe that they've been wrong. They've been wrong a lot. You know what I've noticed? They've been wrong a lot, That dude Trump has been right a lot, but doesn't get credit for being right as much as he's been right. He said all this stuff that we're kind of witnessing, but it's like they don't ever say, they never go back and go like, oh.
Oh, did you just freeze? I think you just froze.
Audio, my visual all went out over here.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if I'm being
Well,
attacked.
you're
Is
back now.
Zuckerberg coming at me? Are they coming at me?
Yeah, oh,
Trinity,
you
because
messed
what
up
I'm
now.
saying?
Yeah, you're messed up now. They're coming for you.
Conspiracy.
That's right.
Yeah, I believe there's a conspiracy going on because here, as I'm talking to people, you might not notice this, maybe you do. My visual and my audio seems to be tripping right now and freezing up. And I think sometimes when you say certain things, I'm going to start thinking like a conspiracy theorist. Where's my foil hat? Let me get my foil hat on.
There you go.
Aliens are coming at me.
Good time.
Anyway, we're getting close to the end. Trinity, wrap us up a little bit, brother.
Yeah, I mean, only two things that come to mind are from the political side. I would say that don't forget that they work for us. You know, if the stuff stops working, they stop doing it. So if we just simply stop responding to all this hate, if we stop responding to all this he said, she said stuff and this division, they'll stop doing it. Because at the end of the day, they're only doing it because it gets them votes and it gets them money. So we got to stop doing that. And then the other thing I would say is, you know, things that offend us or traumatic events or whatever it might be, they happen. They happen all the time. They're not your fault that they happen, but they are your responsibility. They're your responsibility to heal from, to recover from. Your response. Oh, hey, awesome, he's back now. But anyways, yeah, they're not your fault, but they are your responsibility. So, you know, we've all had traumatic events. We've all had things that happen that we could, if we wanted to, use as a justification to go out and hurt the world. But at the end of the day, it's not the world's responsibility to heal from it. It's ours. You know, just in the same, we wouldn't want somebody to just walk into our house and just start slapping us around and taking all of our stuff and say, you know, because of this, because of this, because of that. Well, we can't do that to other people, you know, figuratively or theoretically, right? We can't go around barking at other people, judging them very harshly, mistreating them, you know, because they wear the armor of somebody who hurt us. Like it's not their fault. So that would be my two things.
Right on. And I don't know, can you hear me now? Am I
yeah,
back? All right. And you can't pay us off, man. You can't pay us off. You're trying to buy our votes. You know, you go to it's really weird, right? They go, oh, I'm gonna clear student debt. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to buy people off, man. And that's not cool.
I can be bought, just so you know. Make the check out to Trinity.
yeah. Make a straight check.
Yeah, give me an actual check and I can be bought.
Make a straight check.
So, you know, Kamala or Trump, if you're listening, you know, send me a check and I will vote for you.
Right. That's a whole different ballgame. You know, but don't clear this. It's just all these little games that you play and start acting like, you know, threat to democracy. Look, you're all both of you are a threat to democracy then. I mean, if that's the case. But no, man. Look, the real threat to democracy is us hating each other. We got to love each other a little bit more. We got to take responsibility for how we're part of the problem. And you know, we have our ability to vote who we feel is there. But if you lose, and half of us will lose, be respectful to the other side when you do. Let's not get up there and say, not my president. Let's not get up there and be hateful for 4 years. Let's not make the other side go into court for 4 years and accuse them of all kinds of stuff that always gets debunked, but for some reason, no apologies ever come out. Just let's just take it easy. And then when it comes to how it relates to what we talk about, it's because there's a lot of people getting stuck in the middle. While all this hate is going on, while all this drama is going on, we got people suffering from real depression, from real anxiety, from real substance use disorder issues, from real family of origin issues, from real rapists, from real child molesters, from real abusers. That's what we need to focus on, real stuff that affect us. You know, and money makes us crazy, and the lack of money makes us crazy, right? So when they're up there talking about it, just remember, don't vote for what you hate. Vote for who's going to help you put some more money in your pocket for real. Because I hate when people are telling me, oh, the economy's better than ever before. Dude, do not try to take credit for like COVID went away and then everybody went and got their jobs back. You didn't create jobs. We just went back to work after being stuck in our house for forever. And he didn't lose our jobs. COVID lost our jobs. That's the lies that I'm talking about. We let them take ownership and then blame the other side when it's not ownership and the other side. All I know is this. Money's tight right now, man. Have you seen the interest rates lately? Have you tried to buy a car lately? Have you tried to buy a house lately? Have you seen what interest they're charging all of it? So the only winners in all this madness are banks.
Yes.
While we're fighting, we're losing sight that the banks are controlling our next decade of life because we're all spending on credit cards that are 29.9% and interest rates of over 10%. How are you ever going to get out of that? Both sides are rich. And when politicians get in office, they're not really that rich, and then they get real rich while they're in office for some reason. At least one dude came in rich. He left more broke because they went and took all his money. they put him in through the legal system to take his money. Anyway, that's it, man. I got nothing more to say. Just take responsibility for yourselves. Watch what you do. Watch how you do it. Watch how you say it. Love one another. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care who you want to be with. Most people don't, to be honest with you. Most people don't care about that. Sit on your forehead. That's your issue. That's your problem. You know, most of us take out. We look at someone else and act like they're. If you look at it out of that kind of lens, you're always going to see that. By the way, you're always going to see that out of that lens. No, sometimes the world just treats you harshly because you're a jerk. Stop being a jerk first, and then maybe it's something else. Anyway, with all that being said, it's good to be back here on WOKB 1680. And good to be back on air here. Trinity, any last word at all? Anything?
Can't we all just get along?
Oh, I remember that.
There you go.
We are more alike than we are not alike. Adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.